Hello and welcome back. This is Senko Jin here. I'm going to go over the third part of the tutorial on how to set up the handle for our current melee custom weapon. Alright, so we just finished with the blade. So now we're going to go over to the sword. I'm sorry. Finished with the blade, so now we need to save the blade. I should have done this in the tutorial, but I forgot. No big deal, we'll just do it now. So, navigate to your folder. I highly suggest doing what I did and making a shortcut on your desktop. Makes it a whole lot faster. And now this goes in the meshes folder that remember we set up in the first tutorial. So weapons, tutorial sword, and then name it whatever you want to name it. So just make sure you know what it is. So I'm just gonna keep mine Blade Nif. Save. Now it's saved in there, which is what we need. So close this out. No longer need this one. Close that one. Now for the other two ones that we opened up earlier, we're going to put the handles in now. So go to Chinese Officer Sword Handle 01. Now the difference between these two is this is third person. One is third person, one's first person. I can't remember which one. I think this is third person, I think this is first person. It doesn't really matter for us. So what we're going to do is drag and drop this in here. So now I have this. It's a Chinese Officer Sword Handle. And we want our handle from our mod. So go to wherever you put it at, the handle, place it in there. Now remember how this was gigantic and it's orientated incorrectly? It's still going to be gigantic orientated incorrectly. So whatever you did for the blade you want to do for the handle as well. So just make sure you remove these things. We don't need these. Same as before. Transform, edit, and since we already know what these numbers are, this will be the exact same thing. So go to 90. Mine's going to be at 09. And then we're going to do the same things before. Right click, block, copy, minimize that. Go to the handle. Click on the 9 node, block, right click, block, paste. Now, when you do this, you want to make sure that the orientation of this handle matches up with this handle, because this is going to tell where the player hand is going to be at. So the player hand is usually around in this area right here. So you want to make sure that you align your handle as close to that handle as possible, because wherever you put this is where their hand is going to be. So technically you could throw the handle like way down here, but the player hand's still going to be here. So if you want to adjust the weapon up or down, you just move it up or down. So for us, we want to go transform, edit, move this up. Sorry, that's left. We want up. Right about there. That's good. Hit accept. Now we're doing the same thing as before. You can just pick any one of these things that we want. So I'm going to pick the one that's in the middle, which is this one, because you can't see it because I moved this up, but this is selecting the middle of the handle. So I'm going to choose number 10. So go to here, same thing as before, name it 10. It's going to change the name of this. I'm sorry, it's BS Tri-Shape. We want 9. Mess that up. So we want 9. There we go. And the same thing as before, we need to change this into a BS Tri-Shape. So convert Bethesda BS Tri-Shape. We want to copy the 10 of the lighting shader property to our blade. So we have our blade selected. Go down, properties, 10. What the hell? Oh, I'm sorry. My apologies. We don't want 10, we want 11. So uncollapse the stack and look at this one, which is 11, my bad. So go back to here, change this to 11. That's why I got an error before. And that was correct. Alright, so now we're good. And the same thing as before, you want to go down, change the texture paths. Tutorial sword. Now if your file for your handle is located on a different texture, then name it whatever it is the texture you use, but I kept my handle and my blade in one texture set, so I don't have any changes. And just to N for normal map, remember skip a space, change this to S for specular, copy this, paste it, and then delete this. Right now we're good. Now the handle does have a blood texture set for it as well, but I don't see a point in having it on the handle because you really can't see the handle anyway. But if you have like, this has the guard already attached to the handle, my guard's attached to the blade, so if you want to do it, just do it like I showed you for the blade. It's the exact same process, but I don't need this, so I'm going to remove it. Move branch. This I don't need at all, so remove branch. This is the original handle set. We need this lighting shader property, so just hit block, remove. Now ours should still have the lighting shader property from the original file, which it does, which is good. So now what we need to do is set up the header file for the BGSM. So remember I showed you to do that before? So if you don't know what this is for the BGSM, just double click here, and this is number 10. So you need to go to the 10 string node. I showed you before, so 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So this one, you need to change this one. And change it to the exact same thing as we had before for our BGSM and our BGSM material file. Tutorial sword. Tutorial sword. And then refresh it. Make sure that it copied over. It did. Alright, we're good. And then we're going to save this. File. Save as. Desktop. Shortcut. Data. Meshes. Weapons. Folder that we made earlier. And then handle. Dang it, can't type today. Handle. Save. Alright, so now we're done with this. Now we're going to check to make sure that this worked correctly. If you have everything set up the way I've showed you so far, this should work. So go to your Fallout 4 directory, data, meshes, weapons, whatever folder you have your meshes in, and you're going to double click on it. Now if everything worked correctly, this should open up no problem and show your textures the way it's going to look in game. If everything's set up, then it should work. If something crashes, then you've done something wrong. Go back over the tutorial and figure out what you did wrong. Alright, so this shows up just fine. This is the blade I made. So everything's working on the blade. Let's check the handle. Now this can save you a lot of time and headache because it takes a while the creation kit to open up and load everything. So I checked this to make sure that everything's working, because if you open this up and it doesn't work, it's going to crash the creation kit and you're going to have to try it again. So my handle works, so everything looks good. Alright, so we got a couple minutes left on this, and it's going to take a while for the creation kit. So I'm just going to stop the tutorial now, And in the next tutorial, we'll show you how to set up the creation kit portion. See you next time.